Ahoy, hoy. Greetings, salutations. I just like saying that. Hey, I'll tell you what, gang. Hi, it's Russ Kane, men's radio station. This is The Daily Show. Not long ago this morning, I banged my hand accidentally, not this hand, right? I banged my hand accidentally on my desk and I saw stars. What the hell Bobby Crush and Sue Pollard were doing in my room, I don't know. Anyway, there they were. God, look, everyone, I can do that finally. In case you're wondering and you think I smoke cigarettes and my fingers are yellow, no, that's all the stuff they put on during the operation and it won't wash off. Interesting. Anyway, you know him, ladies and gentlemen. You love him. It's only Neil Long.
Greetings and good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Men's Radio.
Oh, that's very kind of you. How long have you been running it?
Well, just a little day, just one day, a little day
Thank
debut.
you so much for the other day, Neil. Much appreciated.
Do you know the hour absolutely whizzed by? We had two fascinating people, and I'm glad that you're looking better. But it is nice to be here because I thought you still might need a hand. Sorry. Thank you very much.
That's very good. Thank you very much. I'm here all week.
Thank you very much.
Don't forget to tip the waitress. Barry J. Allen, aka The Flash. Good afternoon to you.
Barry.
What's going on? Don't know what I'm seeing. Just don't know what I'm seeing. Just don't know what I'm seeing. I don't understand that.
Elizabeth Green, don't know what I'm seeing. Just landed yesterday in New York. Possibly seeing New York. I don't know.
I don't know.
At least I hope you are.
God only knows. Maybe the Play-Doh guys walking out. What was it? What was at the end of it? Ghostbusters. What was the end of that?
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Thank you very much. Liz Hall, who's one of your pals. Hello, boys.
Greetings. Yes.
And let's dash back to the United States of America. Good day from New York. A good day to you, Asa Don Brown.
Baddest man.
I hope one day you come to London and then we can meet properly and everything else. No stars. Oh, well, what can I tell you? What can I tell you? Right. Shall we bring on your first guest? You can do the introduction because you know what you're doing with these good folks.
When it comes to mental health, and you've said this yourself, it is a serious subject, but sometimes it can be too serious and a bit too doom and gloom. And I know you do like to lighten the mood. So today, it was my suggestion we could focus on comedy because comedy is great for mental health for a start.
It is.
And I've got a couple of comedy bastions to bring on. So
language, fella.
Bastions.
We haven't even started. You're judging them straight away. We haven't even started with them. A couple of bastions.
Bastions?
Sorry.
Can I say thespians or is that rude as well?
No, misunderstood. I thought you said bastards. My fault.
Oh, Russ, please. So please welcome to the show.
I'm on a lot of drugs. Shut up.
Okay, well, I'll have some of whatever you're on. Ladies and gentlemen.
Paracetamol, that's all it is. It's pathetic.
God, is that all you
I've got to hold my hand up, by the way, to stop swelling. So in case you think I'm just doing this for effect, I have to have my hand up. So
it's like a little glove puppet. It's like a kind of
macabre
glove puppet.
What's that? Sooty, now don't. Sooty, put down that hose. Sooty, no, put down the...
Good afternoon and welcome. Graham and Elaine and Graham Blackmore from wholelotofcomedy.com. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Neil. Thank you so much for inviting us. This is wonderful. Thank you.
It's just awesome
you're saying
to have you.
That now. You're saying that now. Give it 10 minutes, you'll be going, Jesus Christ, what the hell?
So we got something quite interesting to do this afternoon because we're bringing you guys on first and we want to hear your story and we're kind of weave our mental health message into it. But it's a fascinating backstory. But I do know, Elaine, that you have your own fringe show, which is coming very, very, very soon, isn't it? Or is it?
6 o'clock tonight. We're going from here. We are driving down to Brighton.
That is pretty soon. So what we thought we'd do, seeing as we got you on this forum, we're going to get you and Graham to do 5 minutes for us after we've had
we've never done this, guys. We've never ever done this before. Neil and I were chatting about it the other day, and I said, you know what? Let's give it a go. What the hell?
And then after that, we've got a guest who you've had on your stage at Whole Lot of Comedy, Palan. And he's going to do 5 minutes as well because his story was really, really inspiring. But it kind of made sense to have you guys on first, just to set the scene. So, how long you been in comedy, and how did it all start for you? Because you sort of came out the blue onto my radar. So how did it happen?
Well, I'll start. Graham will give his side later, but basically,
Poor Graham. Does Graham have a speaking role in this play?
This is a fairly normal dynamic.
Sod.
It's okay.
Graham, for Christ's sake, speak up.
I'm like your hand, but a human version.
Oh, what, bruised, battered, and useless? You mean?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm
This
the
is the
bastion.
source.
Just a
This is the
spare
source of-
appendage that's doing sod all at the moment.
This is a source of endless amusement when Graham and Elaine run their nights. I love it. But anyway, you were saying, Elaine.
So basically, I was quite happy working as a civil servant. Well, I was working as a civil servant until I had breast cancer.
I'm sorry.
Left work. I'm fine. I'm here. It's a good ending. There's so Graham in his wisdom thought it'd be a good idea to put me on a comedy course, cheer me up.
Yeah.
Which I did, and then got the bug. And poor Graham was coming home from work, getting up sort of 6 o'clock in the morning, going to work, coming home, and I go, "Oh, come and listen to me." And he's,
oh God, you poor bastard.
And in the end, he said, we wouldn't have to do all of this if we run our own club. So he is the master of actually setting up the club as a whole. And here we are. It's kind of by default. We're here and enjoying it.
Most importantly, now Elaine.
Yes.
Elaine, first of all, how long have you been breast cancer free? That's the most important thing.
I am waiting for a letter to say I'm at 5 years.
Wonderful. That is such a landmark. We applaud you. I've got too much knowledge of it. Well done. When are you expecting that letter, sweetheart? When's that going to come through?
I had my mammogram on the 5th of May.
Right.
And I phoned them yesterday and they said if I haven't heard in 3 weeks. And they went, but they're so busy in the hospitals. So I'm taking it as a good sign.
It is a good sign.
Because
it is a good sign.
You know,
I waited an entire month to get my blood results. I went on the assumption it had to be okay and I wasn't going to drop dead. Otherwise, I might have picked up the phone. Well done, you. This is fantastic news. Excellent. And you look very well.
You've both got such a sense of what it takes to build a club, the sense of comedy timing, and I find it not hard to believe in the sense that I don't believe you, but I find it incredible. Are you saying that you didn't really have any experience in the arts or comedy, apart from maybe watching it on telly, before you went on this course and it all went from there?
I was at the Corner House, so I was a part of the Corner House and did
Were you a nippy?
Dramatics.
Were you a nippy?
Sorry, nippy.
Neil, I have to explain that gag. When I was a little kid, my biggest treat was my dad taking me to Lyons Corner House. Now, the older people like me, no, not for you. You're a child. You're a child. You're 27 years old. Just had a hard life.
I've just aged badly.
Anyway, the Lyons Corner House was just fantastic. And I know lots of members of the Men's Radio gang, Daily Show gang will know that. And the waitresses, and they all had this uniform. The food was just great. It was a big thrill. It's a big thrill because you're going up west. You know, you get dressed up, you're going out west. And they were called nippies. All right, there we go. Elizabeth Green remembers it. And she's in Manhattan, for Christ's sake.
Local to us, isn't it?
It is. It's a nice little theatre for the community. And they put on all sorts of things and events. So I got involved there. I'd always liked that when I was a child, I was in the church pantomimes and things like that.
Oh, no, you weren't.
Yes, I was. So
behind you, what is your career?
But I never really actually, anything like that. I think, again, Graham, you've got a business mind.
Oh, thank God he's speaking. Oh, Jesus.
Yes,
I thought,
let's hear from
you were
Graham.
a Trappist monk.
Exactly how long have I got?
You've got as long as
12
you
seconds.
want.
12
Rush
seconds.
for freedom. Graham, run for freedom. We're embracing you.
So what I did
Go.
was, when I was growing up, my dad actually had...
Now, that's enough, Graham. Back to
Yeah.
it. No,
Don't be so mean, Russ. Don't be such a meanie.
And so I used to actually book bands and be involved in that in my teenage years, and was quite involved in that in his own nightclubs that he used to have. And so what I thought was, I actually got bored of going to like North London, South London, and literally, honestly, taking up to like 10 hours of travel just to literally go to work, get across from A to B, come back again. And I just thought to myself, really what we need is our own place. I have experience from a music background from then. And I thought, well, let's bring the two together and then we can run professional nights, which is that was the aim of a whole lot of comedy, that we actually run a professional night where people can have fun, where we actually put a stage on for people to perform. People can perform to their best of ability, and the audience come in. They know what the score is. They know everyone's going to have a good time, and then everyone can be harmoniously happy together as one for a short, brief period of time.
What a lovely
just
idea.
just like the song where we all come together.
Well, it really is like that. Your comedy room. There's a pub near where I live, Russ, called the Castle in Surbiton, where I used to DJ years ago. It's been through many iterations since then.
Is
Now,
it cash,
on Sunday
Neil?
nights,
is it cash on the night or?
Oh, I can't discuss that.
Sorry. Just in case you know.
No, I was paid in magic beans, but it's now a completely different pub, really. But it's kind of a win-win-win as well. You mentioned the word harmony, Graham, and it really is, because the comedians win because they get that precious stage time in a friendly room where it doesn't matter if you screw up, because it's there for people to try things out. You guys get content, and it revivifies the pub and gets people in there. So it's a real win-win-win all round. But obviously, you do more than open mic nights. You have tiers of gigs, don't you? And you've got some big ones coming soon, haven't you?
I mean, at the moment, we've got on Friday, we're running full professional night at Surbiton Tennis Club for the actual LTA week with Andy Murray at. So this is on the semi-finals day. So we're running that at night. That's actually going to be 100 plus, and it did sell out in 4.5 days. So we've actually only got 5 tickets left. Which the reason why we have 5 is because obviously there were 5 people who knew that Neil Long wasn't going to be there, so they just didn't turn up.
I like you, Graham.
It's one of those things.
I can go off
I'm
people
liking
very
him
quickly.
a lot more now, Neil. I'm liking him a lot more.
Well, and if you wanted tickets, the website address is on the screen, and it's a top lineup. But I mean, we hear people trot out that phrase, follow your dreams. You know, people start from nothing and build an empire, but you really kind of have, you two. And the backstory is fascinating. It's just how these things unfold, you know, from that horrible diagnosis to a comedy course to cheer you up, to really spreading your net far and wide and really following your passions. So if there is an advert on legs for following your dreams and following your passions, you two literally are it. And it looks like you've been doing it your whole life. You're so just natural at it.
We're just professionals, Neil. It's professional.
You are looking at
that's very
two
unfamiliar to me,
major
things being
professionals
because
here.
obviously I'm not. So
They are the Harvey Goldsmith of comedy.
We are actually. One of the things is, I'm going to say, one of the best things we've done was on Saturday. We also do other shows. We put on Julie Madly Deeply at the Corner House, which is
listen to this, Russ. This is brilliant.
I'm listening.
They've been on Broadway, been on the West End, and I thought, right, I saw them last year at the Brighton Fringe, and I just wanted to bring them down to the bottom of my road, which is just around the corner. Makes life easy for me, and I can see them on my doorstep. But the fact is, we put on some absolutely brilliant shows at the Corner House that we run under a whole lot of comedy, where, again, you know, we're working with top professionals. We're going forward. We're bringing top productions down from the area, and we actually get top people, and it's a win-win for everyone with us, because we want, you know, people can then rely and trust us to put on a good performance. We also work with the likes of Neil Long.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
I don't know excuse me. Actually, can I tell my story here briefly? Because Graham and Elaine remembered me from when I did comedy 25 years ago. This is my second dip into these shark-infested but fun waters. You just contacted me out the blue during lockdown and asked if I wanted to be on your podcast. And I think people have a perception of me that I'm either unaffordable or too busy, and in that particular moment I wasn't. My mental health was in a right dip, and were it not for you guys, I don't think I would have got back into comedy again. And it has been so incredibly healing, for want of a better word, for me to get up on stage and do this. When I come off stage, I am buzzing. I've got all those brain chemicals, all my dopamines and my serotonins, and I'm literally high when I come off stage. And I do know that people use comedy, either performing it to heal. I know people that have done that. And of course, this one is coming from Paul. who says comedy got him through his cancer treatment. My oncologist approved of my gallows humour, especially told me when I wouldn't lose my hair. And I said, bloody hell, I was hoping to save money on haircuts. But
And he always wears a hat. He does.
is that right?
He always
But
wears a hat.
I'm going to say
I've got so many questions. I've got so many questions. What I'm gauging, because Neil obviously knows you very well, and I'm meeting you. I've met you for 14 minutes now. So comedy has got very aggressive in as much as some of the audience think that it's their duty to heckle, but not in a witty way, just laugh off, get out, and all this nonsense. And it's clear to me, even in the brief time I've known you, that's not the atmosphere that you have created.
no, absolutely. We want people. Our atmosphere is we want people to smile and have fun, and that is all round. And that's the venue, the people on the stage, and the people on the audience. We just want everyone.
It's a lovely vibe. It's a lovely energy.
You have to, in order to do that, you have to work. Everyone has to step up to the plate to do that. You can't just not turn up. You've got to bring your A game, really. Now,
Always.
Can I just say something? Sorry. I know you said let him talk, but he goes
Well,
on.
yes, I did. Another mistake on my part.
I can see why you have to limit it now, Elaine. I can understand.
Yeah, Elaine, I'm so sorry. I'm a fool to myself. I didn't realise it was like putting a crack in the Hoover Dam.
So I think what I would like to, I mean, we thoroughly enjoy our nights, first and foremost, and everything we do, we love seeing the acts, and we just enjoy seeing people develop along the way. But can I just say the girls, Anna and Helen at the castle, are so supportive. They are as important to making the atmosphere the way it is. They are so friendly and welcoming themselves.
Oh, and Anuncia and Helen, they're great, aren't they?
Yeah, I just think, wherever you go into a place, you have to have that backing of the place behind you.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because if it's adversarial and they really don't want you there, it's an awful atmosphere. I've done that. We have showbiz royalty in the house. I'm going to read this. Francois Pascal. See, I can do that with one hand, Francois. So but you're safe, basically, because I can do sod all else. Comedy is the only way to survive anything. Having done a comedy series, remember, Mind Your Language? Francois Pascal, the most gorgeous woman ever to grace.
I remember Mind Your Language. I used to love that.
Well, Francois was the incredibly, and still is, incredibly hot French. I mean, she was just everybody's.
Francois.
Yeah, moving on, Russell. Having done a comedy series, which I've known her for years. I've known her for years. She's charming.
You know everyone, Russ.
Well, I know you. That's enough for me. Having done, I have simple taste in life. Having done a comedy series, which helped me in an illness that no one knew about, I came out of cancer. There you go, Elaine. After the op, and it helped me in years later to get over the pain that I will never have children again. Comedy reigns if it is done well.
Amen.
What is the quote, Neil? And I've forgotten who said it, but it's very, very true. Comedy is just, and I'm misquoting, I apologize. Comedy is simply the truth presented in a different way.
Never a truer word said in jest.
Yeah.
That's one of them, but there's something, and I can't remember who it is. Could have been probably Stephen Fry or somebody.
But it's deeply cathartic sometimes. It's the hell of a buzz for me. Did you find performing and indeed writing comedy, Elaine, help with your healing process, mentally and physically?
Yes, because you focus on other things. You focus on the funny side of everything. So, I mean, for example, I can say my boobs they're a double F now. They were bigger until they chopped half of it out.
No wonder Graham's quiet.
They were so big, no one noticed I was fat. So they were just.
No one cared.
But
couldn't get over your boobs, quite frankly. They didn't care about the rest.
That's right.
Dead heat in a Zeppelin race you were.
I can only apologise, Elaine and Graham.
You want comedy, you come to the right place.
I think writing down things, it makes you write things, and you can, even if you don't use it in your material, you're just offloading everything. I did write a play, which one act for the Corner House called Invisibility, about how people, and you can buy badges saying, pregnant on board, and you can buy badges saying you're disabled, but Who
Yeah.
wants to buy a badge saying I'm disabled, I've got cancer, I've got, it's just when you lose your hair, people realise and they get up and stand up for you.
Do
But-
they?
And,
But
well,
do they, or do they think you're trying to be Jaden Pinkett? I
that's-
hate everybody Smith.
Careful, careful, careful.
I don't care.
Mention
I
her.
think she's vile. Sorry, I think she's absolutely vile, and Will Smith should have been done for assault. The end. End of
But
story.
you're quite right. You see, that's exactly answering your question earlier. I do think some places promote interaction with the audience, which goes too far, and sort of they
And I
entice.
can tell you a perfect example of that. After you finish, Graham, I'll tell you a club I remember that did just that.
And having had it done to myself many years ago, where I actually came into one of the top comedy clubs, and a friend of mine and I, who we used to play rugby with, walked in, and we were about 20 seconds late, and our seats were right down the middle of the front row.
Oh dear.
And it's going to be harassment. We went in. I took the hit for my friend who's 6'2". I thought, right, it's my fault. We didn't press the button correctly on the crossing. We were in there. The first thing the MC was he targeted us.
Ugh.
He had 2 minutes of enjoyment, and then of course he said something that was wrong. We picked up on exactly what he said was wrong between the two of us, who then bantered him back. Then we actually, put him on the back foot because we're a little bit smarter than he was, just a little bit quicker, which they didn't like. But to me,
They hate it when you give it back. They hate it. They expect you to sit there like a freaking muppet.
Yeah, exactly. And we waited our time, and he came back to us again. But he gave us the comeback at the time to be able to do a callback to an earlier statement that he had said when he had actually made an incorrect fact on something, and the whole audience just burst out laughing.
Because you won the audience. At that point, the room was on your side.
Yeah.
See, I don't know about you. I don't know about you two, but if I've paid to go and see a comedian, unless he or she going to give me my money back or a rebate, I don't want to be part of the show. In real life, I'm very, very private, as Neil knows. I'm very private. I'm actually very quiet. It's quite different when I'm, working. But in real life, if I go to see the show, I will never sit anywhere near the front. And even if the person on stage is a really good friend of mine, if they mention me or say something, I'm blushing like a Belisha beacon, and I hate it.
There used to be a club, Russ. In fact, the club still exists. Have you heard of Up the Creek comedy?
Yes.
Right.
Very good
This
club.
is known for it. And this is going back a couple of decades when I did a spot up there. They have kind of professional hecklers, if you like. And it's like if Graham and Elaine's lovely, friendly room is one end of the spectrum, this is the complete other polarity.
I hate that, you see. I don't
And when the open spots would come on, the compere, a guy called Malcolm Hardy, who apparently once peed on someone in the front row when they fell asleep. So the story goes.
Genius. You see, they go, oh, he's a comedic genius. And you go, no, it's revolting.
What he would do is ring a bell when the open spots, the little 5-minute spots are about to come on, and say, what time is it? And the audience would chant, dinner time. And then they start chanting, bring on the Christians. Like that. And it was brutal. It really was.
I've got a show starting on next Sunday called Bring on the Christians.
No, we haven't.
No.
No, he hasn't.
I haven't. I was joking.
Right, okay.
Elaine, tell us about your Fringe show, because that's tonight. How exciting. Tell us a little bit about it.
It's
And where is it? I'll put a banner on the screen so people can look it up.
Okay, it's going to be at the Temple Bar in Brighton at 6:00. If you get there.
Neil, you could go down, be the only heterosexual male in the audience.
So, yeah.
Brighton.
We are. It's just me talking about a bit of comedy, a bit about the breast cancer, coming from Plymouth because I'm a Plymouthian. And I still am a Plymouthian at heart. I was born in Plymouth and brought up in Plymouth. I love Plymouth.
Do you say all right,
I don't think you've mentioned the word name Plymouth quite enough in the last 3 sentences. Where are you from again? Because I couldn't quite catch it.
So even though I live in London, I'm originally from Plymouth.
Oh, are you?
Plymouth is my home. Where I feel is my home. See, you're laughing already. You come to my show.
I don't get out much at the moment. Look at this. This is great. We're going to come back. Right. This is from Francois. I don't find today's comedy very funny. I miss our friends Bob Monkhouse, the greatest of all time, the greatest. Bob Monkhouse, the two Ronnies, genius. I what does it say? Hey, hang on. I know I'm an old girl. You're not an old girl. Shut up, Francois. The only time I went to a comedy show was the one you did, Russ. Oh, bless you. You're very funny. Made me laugh a lot. You should come back. Yeah, we can discuss that. Bless you. We can discuss that.
So, Elaine and Graham, who do you think in this new crop of comedians are the up and comers? Who's the new big stars? I'll start. Brandon Palmer. I like him.
You go, Elaine. Actually, I'm going to have a think now.
That's a really hard question. I love Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
He's definitely, and he does a lot of work with us, and is great. Who do I actually like? Roman Harris, I think is great. But you may not have met him yet. Then
Neil Long. Neil Long is good.
I'm going to go for one of my favourite comedians at the moment, who I think has a great future in front of him, is actually Neil Long. And
how much has he bloody well paid you, Graham? Unbelievable.
I've got a great future behind me. Yeah.
But there are so many who come through. Jake Bugg is another one. And Jake Baker is a really
Jake Bugg. He's a pop star.
Yeah, no, I meant
Chet Baker is dead. He's one of my favourite jazz players. If you've booked him, you got a problem on your hands.
I absolutely adore Shay Baker, as this is Shay Atkins. He's absolutely brilliant. But there are so many who are coming through. So, but you're going, once you start stepping up to like the full professional level, that you can actually see clearly the different grades of or levels of attainment, and those who can actually make it and those who can't.
Martin Graham.
Definitely. Yeah. On Friday we have at the tennis, as I said, at Surbiton Tennis Club, we have Nick Helm headlining. But if you look at the actual lineup, we've got Joe Thomas, obviously from Taskmaster and something else as well. Another favourite of mine is actually Aideen McQueen, because she's from, not just because she's from Ireland, but she's actually just good, clean quality. She's high quality, clean, and it's lovely. It's lovely stuff.
I'm slow quality and dirty, but it works for me.
Yes.
But enough about your love life.
Yeah, and I was about to say,
I've got a disadvantage because I don't follow. And Neil probably knows this. I don't follow any British comedians at all. I have no idea. I don't watch those comedy shows.
Yes.
I watch a lot of American stuff. So my favourites at the moment, it would mean nothing to you. Stephen Crowder, who I watch every night. He has a show called Louder with Crowder, which is highly contentious, but I enjoy it. And his sidekick, who cracks me up, called Dave Landau. And I hope one day they come to London and I can show them the real London. Because Dave Landau I find hilarious, because he just sits and just does these very droll comments in the middle of something horribly serious and just boom, just drops it. It's kind of
so we're coming to the end of our time together.
But you guys can stay. Do you guys want to stay, or you got to go?
We got our 5 minutes. Our 5-minute performance.
Oh yeah, the 5 minutes. I want to hear.
I can see our next guest, Palan, waiting in the wings. We can see you, Palan. Welcome. I'm going to bring you in the room in just a moment because you've got a fascinating story, and Palan's going to do 5 minutes as well. And we've never tried this before on Men's Radio, and I got Rusty's clearance for this last night. Elaine has her fringe show tonight. Starts at 6, Temple Bar in Brighton, Elaine Blackmore fringe show. Maybe you'd like to give us a little 5-minute preview, either just Elaine or Elaine and Graham, if you've got something worked out together. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage Elaine and Graham Blackmore.
Hello. Okay, so the actual, holidays are really stressful because I thought I would do this one because it's mental health, and everyone's going away on holiday at the moment for the weekend. And I personally find even going to Brighton really stressful, making sure I've got everything packed and everything. And I always drink too much as well. So when I went to, I'll tell you about our last holiday. So we went to Scotland. We stayed at the Keir Royale, which overlooked the Highland Park. It was dark and stormy when we arrived. Hurricane winds, and the car park was a mudslide. Well, the receptionist, Johnny Walker, he was a real hot toddy, and I know immediately I was going to like the scotch. There was a dog by the fire with a ball nearby. I said, "Is that the dog ball?" And he said, "Yes, it's Bailey's." Well, the following day, there was going to be a wedding, and Stella, originally from Manhattan, she was going to marry Glenn Fiddick. They met when they were tenants together. Oh, he was larger than life. So the day came and she arrived on a pony. It was a little horse with a big kick. Well, it certainly bucked fast. There was an old peculiar man next to her, who I can only assume was her father, because he said, "Have courage, best man has just arrived." They said he was Jamie's son, Tom Collins. The bridesmaids were all dressed in blue, none of them married, although I did hear talk of a baby sham. The photos were taken by the Blue Lagoon, which was really just a silent pool, but quite hypnotic. Tarquin wasn't there. He was noticed by his absence. The food was amazing. They even managed to cater for Celia and Dara, who were both gluten-free. The first dance was the tango, and everyone joined in with the Gay Gordons, and they finished off singing along to the Pina Colada song. Everything was amazing until Jack Daniels turns up with Mary. Bloody Mary, does she whine? He called her a red-headed whore. "I'd like to smash your blue balls against the rocks," she said. There was a punch. I thought he was going to tequila. "Might I suggest you leave," said the best man, which fortunately they did, but it all ended up to be just the port in a storm. But what a palaver! One of the bridesmaids started to cry, and Martini sat down beside her and said, "Dry that tear, Maria." And she looked through her pink frost lipstick and said to him, "I'd like to whiskey away for a quickie. You make the lava flow." "Woo woo, my sherry," he says. "You're a bonny lass, but you do bonny for me." And off he walked into the moonshine. There were going to be a lot of sore heads in the morning, but it was okay because they could get a painkiller from Dr. Pepper. Well, the time came for them to leave for their honeymoon. And she'd always dreamed of being on a Long Island iced tea in hand. So they went to Malibu. She said, "Oh, I can't wait for you to bury me in the sand." But all he ever wanted was sex on a beach. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elaine Blackmore. I love it. I don't know if you have to dash down to Brighton.
I love the bit about Martini. That made me.
It's so well written, isn't it? Now I can see our next guest. He's coming in and out, so we're going to try and get him on. It says device is not connected. Palan, if you can hear me, try again. Oh, here he comes. Graham and Elaine, you're very welcome to stick around for the rest of the hour. Or if you have to dash to Brighton, that's cool soon. That's cool too.
I think
you can stay.
We need to finish packing. I think
I've got to do
packing. It's only a bloody day trip.
Where are you going to? The moon?
Go for the week.
You're to Brighton, for God's sake.
But anyway, the show tonight is at the Temple Bar in Brighton. Starts at 6, and you can see this lovely lady do a full fringe show.
I'll stay. I'll let him go and do it.
And my one as well.
Oh, fringe show tonight.
Graham's doing. We're doing.
So you stay. He's going to go and do it. You've got him well trained.
Yeah.
And as I say, you've got some brilliant shows on. It's all on wholelotofcomedy.com. If you'd like to come to one of the shows, I thoroughly recommend them. And Graham and Elaine Blackmore, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Let's get our next guest on.
How lovely. Well done, Elaine.
Well,
by the way, it's hard to write a long piece like that and sustain it and just have every line has something witty in it. So,
yeah.
Thank you.
Major props.
So
major props.
Now I can see Palan. I've seen him in the green room, kind of, and he keeps kind of popping in and out. And at the moment, I can.
It's a story of life. It's a story of life, isn't it? That's how it is. Now, Elaine, as you're here, I will tell you very quickly my comedy. Is he back? We don't know what it is. There's now 27 Palans. He's like cloning himself here. What the hell? What's going on? Don't know. Can't keep up. Many years ago, I'll do this fairly quick. No, we've got time. Many years ago, hello, Palan. Can you hear us?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Could you drop the camera, because we've got a fabulous view. It's like me being back in hospital when they're examining me. Could you just drop the camera a bit? So it'd be not. Can you drop the camera? I guess not. Okay, never mind. There we
I'm
go.
having a bit of difficulty hearing you.
Okay, we'll do our best. If we can't talk to you today, we'll talk to you another day, I'm sure. But we'll do our best for now.
So, Neil, you carry on because you know Palan and I don't. So I'm gonna walk into a minefield.
You were asking Elaine. Palan's frozen. I'm going to take him out and put him back in again.
Take him out because right. So Elaine, years and years ago, I was taken out for lunch, and it was a very liquid lunch, and it was a hot sunny day with a load of television producers, right? And I thought, why am I here? I don't know. And they said, we're producing the A to Z of British comedy for the South Bank show. Do you remember the South Bank show with that professional Northern boar, Melvin Bragg? Anyway, not that I can't stand him, but I can't stand him. Anyway, so I sat there and they said, we want somebody who's used to talking but never done stand-up comedy. And like a moron and several glasses of Sancerre. And I said, oh, yeah, I'm up for that. What an idiot. So the cameras followed me around. I had to go to comedy school, which was horrible. I think my hand operation was actually more enjoyable than the comedy school, which was they sucked the joy out of it at this particular place, which I won't mention. It took me months to write the routine. I performed it to a friend who didn't like it. So stupidly, I changed everything. It was a 4-camera shoot. So no pressure. I'd never done this. 4-camera shoot. What an idiot. It was the worst professional mistake I'd ever made. 4-camera shoot at Jongleurs in Battersea.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and that's where I met someone who's been my very close friend for 30 plus years, Maria Kempinska, Dr. Maria Kempinska, who broadcasts regularly on women's radio station as well, our sister station. And we had to do 5 minutes, which if you've never done it, I got up there. And in the immortal words of Julie Burchill, not since Lee Harvey Oswald has one person died in front of so many people. It was horrendous. I died on my ass. And friends had sneaked in. I had my family there. The audience was brutal. I split into 3 different personalities. The private me saying, I just want to die. The professional me immediately editing and cutting and pasting as I went along. And then the other me performing, trying to keep a face going because it's 4 cameras. It was the worst moment of my professional life. Seriously. I came off stage and then the cameras, well, Russ, how did it go? You know, and I wanted to just curl up in a ball. Oh, it was great. It was great. You know, I just lied. I actually went to bed for 2 days afterwards. That's how bad it was. And then the producers phoned me and said, oh, and I thought, oh, here we go. It's going to be horrible. We've re-edited it. Put in a laughter track, cut in the audience having hysterics with laughter, and it looks great. So I'm thinking, oh, my career. Melvin Bragg sees all of this, decides he wants to be in the show, and they cut me and Barry Cryer completely out.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Do you know how nervous I was, Elaine? This is why I appreciate what you do. I lost a stone in a week. I lost a stone in nervous energy. 25 years before I ever did comedy again, but I did it under my own...
a little bit bigger the second time round. That was in LA, wasn't
slightly,
it?
But I did it under my own steam and would never let anybody control it in that horrible way.
No.
You know? Palan, welcome.
Welcome, sir.
Can you hear us now, Palan?
I'm back.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you all.
Fantastic.
Take it away, Neil Long.
Just to introduce you, Palan, I've only known you a couple of weeks, and I was at Whole Lot of Comedy, which is Graham and Elaine's lovely open mic night in Surbiton on Sunday night. And you came in with some family and friends. And I remember looking at the table where you were all sitting, thinking, which one of those is the comedian? And then Elaine introduced you. Or was it Elaine? No, was it Graham? Anyway, you were introduced on the stage. And I thought, right, it's him. And you came up in your flat cap and you did this fantastically funny 10 minutes. Which, there it is.
Hey.
There it is. Which I thought was brilliant. But the reason why I wanted you on, and this will unfold as we explore the conversation a bit more, was what you said at the end of your set as to why you're doing it. And then, well, the big reveal, shall we say, but I won't give it away just yet, but it blew my mind. And I thought, what an inspiring guy. So, first of all, How long have you been in comedy? How did it happen for you?
Well, I've been doing comedy for a few years. First of all, let me say thank you very much for all the kind words you have said about me. uh, so, how I got started was originally I had planned to go and do some tsunami relief work in Sri Lanka, but unfortunately the government changed and the president came and it was too dangerous to go there. So I was wondering what am I going to do after I retire. Then my daughter came and said, well, just to backtrack a little bit, at her wedding, when I was asked to do the father of the bride speech, she said, Dad, I want this to be the best father of the bride speech ever. So no pressure. So I made it humorous. And then after the wedding, a couple of weeks later, she married a colleague of us. She and her husband Tom come home and said, Dad, I'm really angry with you. I said, why, darling? She said, every time our colleagues talk about the wedding, they don't talk about the bride or the groom and king. All they talk about is the father of the bride's speech.
Well, it was her fault. She said she wanted the best one. You only did as you were asked.
Yeah, absolutely. Then she said, Dad, now that why don't you take up comedy, do something on those lines after you retire? And that's how I started. But my first attempt was a disaster because I didn't know anything about comedy. I didn't know anything about open mics. I didn't know how it worked. So somewhere on the news, I saw a comedy store. Then I Googled and found they do a gong show and went to do a gong show. And I got gonged out within about 10 or 15 seconds. But I hadn't told anyone that I was going to do comedy because I knew what my wife would have said. She said, you're not going to make a fool of yourself and embarrass me. So I didn't tell her. I didn't tell anyone.
You're not going to make a fool of yourself and embarrass me. How does that
work? Yeah. So, well, now I make a fool of myself and embarrass her. But I make a fool of herself and embarrass me now. Anyway, my friend who went with me said, Palan, don't listen to those guys. They are all drunk. They don't know good comedy when they see it. You're good. And he encouraged me to keep going. So a couple of months later, I went back there and I stormed through and I became runner-up and then carried on from there.
It was really...
the thing was, I was looking at things and I found out that a lot of people say, I want to do this after retiring, I want to do that after retiring. But the ones who do anything after retiring are the ones who start what they want to do before retiring, even before retiring, and then they carry on. Those who say, I will start this after I retire, never get started. Yeah, so I got started in comedy and carried on.
So true. Yeah. That is a real lesson. I think that is one of many lessons we can learn from you if we're talking about mental health and life lessons. Don't wait. Don't wait. Start now, even in some way, even if it's just 10 minutes once a week writing something. Start the dreams now, because then you get momentum on it. Because that 10 minutes I saw you do, I was absolutely captivated. You made me laugh within about 20 seconds, and I thought, I like this. And it was just so funny.
Well, so while we've got time, hear some in a bit anyway. While we've got time, let's do the second great experiment of men's radio station. You're both bloody brave, quite frankly. Palan, would you like to do a 5-minute set? I can't believe we're doing this, but if it's cheered everybody else up in a grim, lousy world, our work is done.
Right.
Well, Elaine, would you care to introduce Palan?
Elaine, be all professional and do a lovely introduction for Palan, would you?
Oh, well, today you are in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen this gentleman many, many times. I love him to bits. My very good friend, Palan.
Thank you very much, Elaine. I thought today what I will do is I will talk about relationships because that is very important in mental health. Because if you don't have good relationship with at least one other person, your mental health is going to suffer. But if you have at least one person, if you have good relationship, then your mental health will improve a lot. And so I'm going to talk about relationships, and I'm going to come at it from my comedic angle rather than a serious angle. So let's say, um, first of all, your relationship starts with your family, wife and children. So let's talk about my relationship with my kids. The way I grew up in a patriarchal society, which is, don't judge me by what I did then, all right? One day, my little girl, she was about this size, I think, she was being cheeky to me. So I grabbed her and said, you listen to me. And she glares at me, all 2 feet of her, and says, why should I listen to you? Your wife doesn't. And I thought, what? And I wanted to give her a smack. And then she started crying. So I felt sorry. I said, look, darling, the reason why we smack you is because we love you. That's how we show our love. And then she goes, but Dad, why don't you love mommy then? She loves you. So, and then the other daughter, one day she came in. She was, her exams were coming up, all level GCSEs is called now. She was not studying, and I felt that I, as a parent, should encourage her to study more. So I grabbed her and said, listen, child, you know where I went today? I went to your cousin's house. And do you know what he's doing? He's studying. And do you know what his mother told me? That he studies every morning for a couple of hours before going to school. Then he comes back after school, does his homework, has dinner, plays a little bit, then studies some more before going to bed. What? So I thought I'll lay it on a bit thick. What are you doing? All you do is you're just sitting at home, looking at your phone, looking at your TV, and not doing any studies. She said, Dad, stop. I said, what? Dad, only if he studies like that can he reach my standard. So that's how, our relationship went at the beginning. Let's move on and let's come to my relationship with my wife. Let's tell you a couple of incidents. We were watching TV one day, I was seated like this, because I'm the head household, so I was seated at the back. She was seated in front, close to the TV, because she had a short sight. And we were watching Titanic. You all remember them? With Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. And there was this one particular scene, and I asked her, do you love me, woman? Back in the day, I thought that's the way you like your wife, because that's what I learned from my, patriarchal society. Do you love me, woman? She didn't turn. She asked, why do you ask? I said, because, woman, you can look at me the way Kate Winslet is looking at Leonardo. She turned around slowly and said, but you never look at me the way you're looking at it. I thought, no, she's sure of. And then the next day, we were watching TV again. This time it was a different story. And there was this guy who was cheating on his wife. He was married, he was cheating. And wife turns to me and said, typical men, always cheating on their wife. I said, surely you don't mean all men cheat? Said, yeah, I do. All men cheat. I said, are you accusing me of not being a man? She said, oh, you know what I mean. I said, I don't. She said, yes, you do. So we spent the next few minutes talking about what she said that I didn't mean, what I said that I didn't mean, and so on. But she will not admit that she was wrong. So I said, played my trump card. I said, whatever I said, she came back. Typical woman, always won't have the last word. And she said, typical woman, surely you don't mean. I said, I was about to say, yes, I do. Then I realized If I said that and she kept quiet, I would have the last word, not her. But if I didn't say anything, what she said stands, and she would have won. So you know what I did? I resorted to sign language. I said, 2 fingers I kept my mouth shut. And she started laughing. She said, that's not the way you do a victory sign. This is how you do a victory sign. You got your fingers the wrong way around. And I thought, wow, how clever. She's twisting everything, including my fingers. How am I doing for time?
Well, I think that's about 5 minutes, and I absolutely
Okay,
love
I
it.
thought, you know.
And we battled through that because the sound quality, no fault of yours,
Thank you.
was a bit dodgy there. But I got 99% of that, and that's
Now,
really.
Neil, you
really
have the
good.
big you have a big reveal now, because you
Okay.
told
Well,
me
it's
something,
ju-
and I was
it's
like,
just- it
"What?"
just this was the whole reason why I wanted Palan on, because when I saw him at Whole Lot of Comedy, he did, as I say, a fantastically funny 10-minute set, which I really got invested in. I really kind of connected with. But then you did this thing at the end, and you said it's kind of a bit of a life purpose, that you want to bring more happiness and joy into the world, which is lovely. So this is the first half of it. Tell us about that first.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know, if you don't have a purpose in life, then you're dead on the inside. You know, waiting for the outer body to die. You should have a purpose in life. And my purpose in life is to bring happiness and laughter into people's lives, which I'm trying to do through comedy. And the other thing I like to do is prove to people that you can do anything at any age. You can start anything at any age. That
Let's hear that.
life does not begin at 40, life begins at your age. Whatever age you are, you can do it. So I am trying to prove that. And the other thing I am trying to prove is that you can reverse the aging process. That
How
when we
old
talk
are you,
about
Palan?
age, there's a numerical age that you cannot change.
And here
I
comes
will
the
be
big
80
question
this
from Neil
October.
Long, ladies and gentlemen. The big question.
Say that again, because you said it and we missed it. How old are you, Palan?
I'm 80 in October. October. I will
Ta-da!
be 80.
If that isn't, in all seriousness, if that isn't a little encapsulation of how life is, it's so, you know, without humor and without joy, my view is like, what's the point? What is the point? To do that and decide at 80 years old, you know, I'm not going to do the horrible at 80 years young. I just think it's bloody patronizing. But at 80 years old, to say, right, I'm going to do stand up. How fantastic is that? It's fantastic. Brilliant. It's inspirational.
And don't wait for retirement to start your dreams. Start your dreams now, because you've got the momentum. And when you meet Palan in person, I'll say he's so vibrant. You know, not like a typical 80-year-old. Your mindset is much younger,
well,
and I'm
sure
a
little bit of a generalization there. I don't normally disagree with you, but 80 now, in all seriousness, is not that old. It really isn't. I think the other trouble is our expectations. We expect everybody to live forever. And, you know, somebody dies and they're like 97. Everyone goes, oh, tragedy. And you go, well, they're 97 for Christ's sake. How long do you know? They're not going to be 200 years old and pass away. But to start comedy at 80 is great.
Yeah,
it's wonderful. Really, you see why I had to have this guy on, Russ. Brilliant. When's your next gig, Palan? Where can we see you next?
people around my age, sometimes I hate to hear them. So they say, you know, I'm ready to go. And I tell them, look, it's not when you're going to die, or it's, you know, it's not how long you live, it's how you live that matters. We have no control over how long you're going to live. How are you going to live? That's what matters. And it's all up here in the mind. You know, if you have your mind right, you know, you got
we can all learn. Right. But perfect. And this is perfect for a discussion on mental health, because so many lessons we can take from all of our guests today, whether it's mindset, not waiting to start your dreams, it's never too late, and just moving forward, Graham, in a lane in a direction that you want to, with passion and enjoyment, and just look what can come out of that. And That's it. I mean,
And you know
four
what
great
the other
lessons just
and you know what the
encapsulated.
other thing is, Neil,
Yeah.
is don't wait. How can I put this? And Graham and Elaine are absolute prime examples of this. Don't wait for other people's permission.
No.
Don't wait for other people to do something and then you latch on. If you want to do it, just like these guys have done, just go do it. You know, and it's the same with like men's radio and women's radio. We just thought, let's give it a go. Let's not wait and try and join somebody else. Let's start something of our own.
Yeah.
And
You
it could
didn't
have
wait for
gone one.
anyone's
It could have
permission.
gone one way. Could have gone the other. Yes, of course, it could be much bigger, but you know that's just funding, etc., etc. Don't wait for everybody else. You know, if you've got a passion, go and do it. Seriously, go and do it.
Russ, I just want a quick question. I did notice that I did hear earlier that Neil did actually say that you've been on stage before. I don't want to miss an opportunity right when it presents in front of me. But
You should have
one
been.
second. Is it 10 minutes that you want?
Well, it's an hour. I actually do an hour and a half stand-up show in 2 halves. But
He doesn't get out of bed for less than an hour.
I'd be 10 minutes. I can't do a 10. I'm not being rude. I can't do a 10-minute spot because it's observational and each anecdote takes the time. So, but I'd be absolutely, if you're inviting me,
Yes.
because I've been debating whether I can do it. It's been a while because of COVID and everything. But
That'd be brilliant.
I'd be thrilled to come down and do it.
Get him on at the corner house.
This is where he's going to the corner house.
I'm going to the corner house.
See, I even get you a gig, Russ. Anything else I can do for anyone? Anything?
Well,
at all?
yeah, get me a hand that works. That would be fantastic.
No,
guys, I'd be delighted. That's very sweet of you and very kind of you. Thank you. I'm flattered.
You can have longer than 10. I think possibly 15.
Look at you. Look at you.
Neil only gets 10.
Yeah, at the moment.
Mr. Impresario.
At the moment, but mindless violence is never ruled out. Graham and Elaine Blackmore from wholelotofcomedy.com. Loads of great shows on. Check out their website. Also, if you want to see Elaine's Fringe show tonight, you had a little taster of it earlier on. It's at 6 p.m. Starts out at the Temple Bar in Brighton. She's great on stage. And I will say that. We love you, Elaine. You're great. And you're not so bad, Graham, as well, when you're allowed to talk.
But Graham's doing his radio shorts tomorrow as well at the Caroline Brunswick.
Yes.
So we're doing a double-handed. We're doing 2 shows.
2 shows
One
a day.
show tonight, 2 shows a day till Sunday.
Where is that? I'll stick it on the screen. Say that again.
In Brighton. So it's...
They're shameless, these two.
I know.
2 o'clock.
They're like the Katie
Caroline
Price
Brunswick.
of comedy.
Yeah, that's up 2 o'clock. Carolyn's of Brunswick for 5 days, or 5 days, yeah. And that's my show, which does include guitar. I'm afraid my guitar will be played, and
it was all going so well, Graham, up to that point.
All these details are on. I can't put it on screen now, but all these details
Are you
are on
going
the
to be playing
website.
like
Right?
the very best of Piccadilly Witch?
well, now you come to mention it.
Oh God! Don't get him started on music.
Okay, that's another time. Palan, listen, you just to take it away from these 2 impresarios who've taken over the world. Palan, thank you so much for coming onto Men's Radio Station. Thank you for being brave enough to do a 5-minute spot. Trust me, if you've never done it, folks, it takes balls the size of a demolition derby.
It's been lovely to meet you, Palan, and lovely to have you on. And I hope I share a stage with you at some point soon. Really do.
Absolutely. You guys take care. Go off to
I look forward to that. I'll look forward.
Bring
maybe Graham and Elaine organize it.
Right.
Yeah, I would like.
Guys, bye. Well done, Neil Long. They were an adorable 3 people. Absolutely adorable.
Yeah, well,
and
great.
You know what? I'm going to say this because we've got time. You know, if you're sitting at home or whatever and go, "Oh, that wasn't very funny," or "I could do better," go do it. Go do it.
Yeah.
So easy to be a critic. So easy, and it takes such nerve to do what those guys did. Trust
But when
me.
it goes well, the buzz, the legal brain chemistry buzz that you get from it, it's nothing like it.
It's so strange. You and I are very different in that regard. And we've talked about this off air. I love the fact you get such a high. And for me,
Oh, I do.
I'm completely.
Oh, I do.
I'm like
it's an absolute
Julia
it's an
Roberts in
absolute-
Flatliners. I just nothing. I don't know what it would take to.
do you know your show would be amazing at the Corner House? I'll be
happy to
heckling them.
do it. I'll be thrilled to do it.
Do you know what?
As long
That
as you're
Graham
there.
would love that. I mean, he
As
knows
long as
your
you're
heritage,
there.
and he knows who you are.
Hey, gang, we're out of time. We will be back Friday, and also I've spoken to Neil about this, and he didn't have to, but he's a lovely guy, as you all now realise. So, despite the fact it's the Jubilee, we will be Friday and on Monday as well. So, if you're not doing other things and decking out your bunting, careful with that, Rusty. That could have gone horribly wrong. Then join us then. We'll be back on Friday at 12 o'clock. Till then, stay safe. Bye, gang.
Good afternoon. Thank you.